Hey everybody, it's Thomas. Let's talk about some Blood Bowl League of Blood Bowl. This this was a weird week. I think that's the safest way to say it. Some bad things happened to me. I got a miss next game here on Stickers for Men, which is terrible. Betty got injured right away and therefore gained nothing. Other things. Earth, Wind, and Tires finally died, which is okay. I'm sad to add another skull to the skull pile, but if it was going to be somebody, I'm kind of okay with it being my minus agility niggling injury guy. Perhaps the more sad note, though, you may have seen this, is Yes Wire Hangers. Yes Wire Hangers rolled a skull, and then apothecaried to a -1 strength, and then regen didn't proc. So +1, -1 Mighty Blow is not worth keeping, so I fired it. Good news is I have somebody to hand the ball to. I lost some fan factor as well, looks like, so that's not good. I mean, it is what it is. My treasury is also very reduced by having to drop 140, but I'm still pretty good. So yeah, you can watch the game, obviously. Pretty good game for Andrew, though. 4 casualties, touchdown and MVP. Really good. I'm amazed I kept this to a tie. I feel like if Andrew played a little cleaner, he could have won, but whatever. These things happen. I lost a lot in the process, though. Long term, this game was definitely worse for me. Good for Andrew. But yeah, 4 casualties for Andrew, touchdown, MVP. These are really good, really good things. 18 SVP total, whereas I'm looking at 12, which is about what I've averaged out, I think, over the course of the season so far. So yeah, that's how that game went. I don't know. The casualties mounted up way faster than I thought. Andrew's Minotaur was too much for me to deal with. I guess the good news is my team value is a more reasonable number now, but it's still annoying to lose leveled up pieces regardless. Andrew, on the other side of things, no big changes for him. I think he gained a fan factor, 50k for him. Just no level ups, not to be surprised. Minotaur, very close to level 3 though, which is really good for Andrew. None of his Chaos Dwarf blockers leveled up, which is good for everybody else in the league. Bull Centaurs didn't really level up either. His Sure Hands Hobgoblin got the touchdown, so that piece is moving up in the world. But yeah, Andrew's team is really scary, as I mentioned last week. Not a huge fan. I'm just not a huge fan. Let's see here. What else are we looking at? Other games of the week. Sorry. Zach versus Mark. This is a tie game, which I think is what I predicted. This game was kind of weird. Just kind of weird in general. How can I put this? The game was close in a lot of ways. Mark did a lot of damage. Let's go to the recap here. Mark did a fair amount of damage, 3 casualties, but so did Zach. Mark managed to get a kill on somebody as well, which we'll talk about in just a second. You may have seen it already if you're paying attention. 30k for Zach here. Still a pretty good week for Zach, except for the death. 3 casualties, a touchdown on MVP. Those are some solid numbers. Just not a lot to complain about there. Going to 14. Mark walking away with the same number. So pretty even week aside from the death. And it was a pretty big death because the level 3 white going is a kind of big deal. Zach wants to be focusing on leveling up these ghouls. Doesn't want to be focusing on leveling up whites and again. So that's kind of the annoying part. The zombies miss next game. Niggling injury on this ghoul is kind of a big deal, and I think this is just a miss next game because he had minus agility on this white before. So at least good news it wasn't, well, I don't know. The minus agility white is probably the one you wanted to go. Big news though is Fat Elvis got leveled up and got guard. That hit in particular is pretty amazing. Betty managed to injure herself in the process. Not Betty. God, that's my piece that I'm complaining about. Britta managed to injure herself, and that just was how that went. But yeah, game was pretty good. Dauntless did a lot of work. They just kind of hit at each other very well. I think if Zach had played a little more aggressively, he probably could have gotten more touchdowns, or at least stopped Mark from scoring, but pretty close game, man. A really good game. You should definitely watch that. Let's look at Mark's side of things. No level ups either for Mark. Oh, no, that's not true. Abed hit level 5. because he's a machine. And got piling on. I don't really like this because guard piling on don't interact whatsoever. I think he should have just skipped guard if he was going to do that. That said, the argument could be made if you don't pile on, then at least you have a really useful guard piece. So it's okay, I guess. Let's see here. Anything else? Some significant miss next games for Mark again. The Dean being out will hurt the Dean statistics. Britta did level up, though, with MVP and got Mighty Blows. This piece is better than mine now in a lot of ways. But out miss next game, which is okay. It means they'll be in the group stage there. Looks like Mark lost some fan factor there as well. Let's take a look at the other match here. This just happened. I haven't had a lot of time to watch, but it's a huge upset. I knew Chris could put up a good defense, but he really put up a good defense. 60k for Chris. He's rolling high. One casualty, a lot of KOs dished out by Chris. The Vampires were very well behaved. 2 passes as well, and an MVP and a touchdown. This is all really good numbers. I mean, the MVP you always get, right? But still, 12 SPP is more than Chris has gotten in a long time. Gredick, though, did get a few passes in there, which I'm kind of surprised happened, but whatever. Casualty 2 passes, MVP is 9 SPP. It's less than she wants, but it's okay. But yeah, fantastic game for Chris from what I understand. Minotaur was out like turn 1, which made the things a lot easier for Chris. Without the Minotaur, honestly, too, a lot of Gredick's big power is gone, and because the Vampire's well 4 strength, a lot of her hitting advantage is removed as well. Only level up here looks like it was John, not a vampire at all, Smith, which is pretty good. I imagine Chris will get block because dodge keeps failing him anyway. But yeah, pretty good game, all things considered. Yeah, no other big changes here. Yeah, just a pretty good game for Chris. His Vampires finally kicked into gear. And that's kind of one of the nice things this team always has going for it, is it could be a threat kind of no matter what. He's backed up to 7 fan factor as well, so I'm pretty sure he's excited to be back to where he started. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal game for Chris. This is a huge deal in terms of rankings, which we'll discuss in just a little bit here. Greyduck managed at level 3 on Leopard Corinthian, though, which is really good. If you're going to focus SPP on somebody, Leopard Corinthian is a good call. Looks like got MVP. Yeah, 3rd MVP, so that seems most likely. Yeah, that's good. Block is the most likely thing here because Oblige Chaos Warrior is just annoying. Lionok did indeed get +1 strength. That's a pretty big deal. No miss next games, no significant missing though. So we'll see. Ocelot Atlas here. Really close to level 4. I wouldn't be surprised if this piece at level 4 next week. I don't know. She's got to focus on getting these Chaos Warriors up, though. They should all be like level 4 by now, and they just aren't. I mean, part of that is low number of casualties. There are 3 casualties across all 4 Chaos Warriors, which is kind of crazy. They've gotten more SVP or more just numbers of touchdowns and passes than that, so that's kind of sad. Looks like Gredick lost some fan factor as well, or maybe he held still. I don't know if she was at 9 last week, but she's for sure at 8 now. Definitely takes our highest spot of team value now that I've lost a piece. Yeah, really good game for Chris. I'm excited to watch that. Jessup put up a huge blowout on Orville, but at great cost. Haven't had a chance to watch this game. I know vaguely what happened, but still, 70k for Jessup is great. It's definitely kind of the money he needed. 2 passes, 3 touchdowns, no casualties for him, which is kind of unfortunate. But still, touchdowns are worth more anyway, so who really cares, right? Who cares? Looks like it's 16 total, so that's a pretty solid performance from Jessup. Definitely something he needed. Orville and then posting up a lot of SPP, which honestly, at this point in the season, winning isn't as important as getting SPP, and this is a ton of SPP. 6 passes, 4 casualties, a touchdown, an MVP. It's an insane amount of damage is what it is. 22 SPP for Orville. Casualties being a big part of that, but the pass is doing a lot of help as well. I'm excited to look at Orville's team when we get there. Jessup, though, missing some pretty significant pieces here. This is another minus strength lineman. This one needs to get fired immediately. It's just not even worth keeping on the bench. His Fend lineman out is kind of unfortunate. Claw strength lineman being out is a big deal. Malarkey cannot hit level 4. Hui, though, hit level 4, which is pretty exciting. No changes for gutter runners, which is good. And no one died for Jessup, so it's definitely an improvement over his past couple weeks. But it's a lot of injuries to take. Pretty significant ones as well. Probably wants to hire gutter runner to 4. Arguments could be really made for just hiring a new lineman and a new gutter runner. I think that's the best use of this money, but He could try to skate away with having 3 Gutter Runners as well. 3 is still a lot of Gutter Runner power. But without the Rat Ogre, I think that would be the best use of the money. In terms of what to get on this piece, Safe Throw or Safe Pass is probably in the agenda. I would also look to getting blocked just to make this piece harder to knock over. Could also certainly see... Kickoff return could be a thing too. Wouldn't fault him for getting that. It's not really necessary though, considering how fast the Skaven Thrower is. Just makes him able to cover more stuff. If he rolls doubles, then there's lots of other options too, like Big Hand would be something to consider. Strong Arm as well would be worth thinking about. The Throwers at level 4 is kind of a weird thing. He already has leaders, so I'd probably get block. But again, Safe Pass, Nerves of Steel would all be good skills. It would help him be a better thrower, help him throw in traffic. So we'll see what he decides to do. Let's take a look at Orville though. Yeah, 2 level ups for Orville. He did hire Blitzer number 4. Thank you, Orville. I was really scared he wasn't. Rolled 60 as well, so that's a good number. Could have gotten the Witch Elf too, which would have been okay, but I think Blitzer number 4 was the better choice. Got 2 SPP on him as well, so it was well worth it. Dude levels up and hits level 2. I think that's an MVP helping him out there. Yes, it was. Dodge. Could get Dauntless here. Ornasis did get Blodge Dauntless, which is great. Yeah, that puts him with only 1 Blitzer without level 3, which is cool. Or level 2. Orville's team has actually picked up speed. Despite losing a lot of players early on and losing a lot of games, Orville's team has recovered in a lot of really good ways. Got strip ball in this lineman too, which is pretty cool. Russell Dodge, I like this. This team is pretty good. I don't like these choices maybe, like kick, but these are all pretty solid pieces at this point. 70k, he could buy another runner. I certainly wouldn't fault him for doing that. Can he? No, runners are 80, I want to say. Yeah. I'd just save it then, get a Witch Elf. Maybe Assassins are 72? No. Assassins have to be 80, because they wouldn't be lineman price. Yeah, they wouldn't be lineman price, otherwise you just get Assassins instead of linemen. Debatably. But yeah, Orville's team is actually pretty tough right now. Just its ability to move the ball is definitely very good. And as long as the dice are cooperative, this team could be pretty scary. I mean, honestly, injuries aside... this team is looking pretty solid. Yeah, this is certainly a dark horse team, and it's certainly picking up speed. So we'll see how Orville does next week. And that wraps us up. My predictions were terrible this week. I think I was right twice though, so that's not too bad. Still, I feel terrible because they were really wrong in a lot of ways. Let's take a quick look at next week here. This is our last week before the group stage starts, and let me tell you, this week is really important for determining how things go. We have a lot of matches that really will depend on how things develop for the group. Let's take a look here. For the first up, we've got Undead versus Chaos. This should be an interesting match. Zach missing a ghoul is not that big of a deal. Missing a zombie, not that big of a deal. Missing a white with guard, missing 2 whites with guard is a pretty huge deal. This team's hitting power is reduced insanely. The mummies are obviously really good, but the Minotaur is still a thing. Still, guard will help out a little bit here, and Trouble the Hut actually pretty close to level 3. I didn't notice that before. The bigger element here, at least in my mind, is Zach's down to 10 players. Simple way to solve that is obviously just buy another player. Certainly not a hard thing to do. You'd probably just pick up a zombie or skeleton of your choice. Long term, it's kind of a scary thing. The other argument could be made too that he just wants to leave his players at 10. If the loner gets SPP, hire the loner. But this team is so cheap anyway, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for him to pick up a 14th piece. He's missing all these pieces, though, is a really big deal, and that's kind of the issue. So one way or the other, his team value will be plus 40 for 1310 total. Greyduck, with her mountain of SPP, will be at 1640. So, yeah. I mean, you're getting 300 gold anyway for free. Just hire the extra piece now. Save yourself the hassle. I think Greyduck's team is a lot stronger. I think Greyduck is a much better player, too, at this point. Zach doesn't have the experience Greyduck does, and this team is very hard to push over, especially this 5 strength Chaos Warrior. Could be totally wrong. If Mighty Blow strikes true, Could be a totally different story. But Zach doesn't have anything that can deal with this. And I just don't see him being able to crush through this team. So I think Great X should win this match pretty handily. Take a look here. We've got Norse versus Chaos Dwarf, which Mark, I'm sure, is not happy about because I did nothing for him here. And he's missing a lot. So 1430, he won't have any loners, so that's good for him. Let's take a look at Andrew's ridiculous team. 1540, so 100k to Mark. I think Mark gets the Apothecary then. Going into the group stage where the matches really matter, you just want to keep pieces alive, and this team is all about crushing people, which it certainly did to me. Yeah, so I was Mark, get the Apothecary. I don't think Mark can win this game very easily. If he can outmaneuver Andrew, which is not that hard to do because Andrew's team is so slow, it's certainly possible. The biggest concern I have is Mark's big advantage is all the block everywhere. And he doesn't have that going for him. Last time these teams played, this is a clone of week 1, by the way. Mark totally blew him out of the water. Like 4 casualties. Andrew tilted ridiculous. He got 3 touchdowns. That's not going to happen this week. It's just not. This team is a lot better. It's a lot stronger. Fair amount of Mighty Blow everywhere now. He's got 3 Mighty Blow pieces. Yeah. I think Andrew has this game. As long as Andrew doesn't make huge mistakes, he should be fine. I think Andrew should be able to win this game, no problem. Tie is also possible, but I think Andrew has the capacity to win this game. Orville versus Chris, this should be a pretty interesting match. Last time you guys played, Chris won by a huge amount, but Orville's team is pretty frightening now. Let's see here. With both level ups, we're assuming normal rolls here. By the way, if any of these are doubles, you get guard. But 1590, assuming normal rolls, whereas Chris is sitting at 1560. So no inducements for anybody here. I think Orville's got a pretty big advantage here. If Chris's vampires are cooperative, then Chris has a pretty good advantage. But we'll see. This match is going to be kind of a mess. I think Chris has the tools to outplay Orville, but Orville's got a lot of tools just be elfy and annoying. I don't know. I think the vampire strength could help, but we'll see what happens here. This piece actually might come in handy as well. I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to Orville. I think Orville can win this game. Chris's vampires, while they were well behaved this week, are not notoriously or not normally so well behaved. We'll see. Maybe they just behave against certain teams really well, and Chris will crush him. We'll see. But I think Orville should win this game. Me versus Jessup. I'm expecting to lose this game. I'll say you right now. Let's see here. Jessup has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. If he hires the 2 I told him to, he'll spend 130, which will bump up to 1140, another 50, so 1190. And even in my reduced capacity, I still have 1480, so I'll be giving him 290, which is a lot. I think that's what I gave him last time, basically. Maybe a little bit less. When did I play him? Oh, week 1, right. So I didn't give him anything week 1, obviously. I'm thinking of somebody else here. But yeah, I won this 2-0 last time. I don't think that's going to happen this time. It's certainly possible, but we can just move the ball so much better than I can, even with his squad being so beaten up. 4 gutter runners is probably more than I can deal with, assuming he hires what I tell him to. We'll see what happens, though. This team is really broken, but it can still hit pretty hard. It will have the same amount of guard I will outforce him, but I don't know. We'll see. I can definitely outpunch him, and then I got more people, I think. So, oh, that's not my team. I can definitely outpunch him, and I get more people. So we'll see. I could be totally wrong. The extra body will probably help, but we'll see how it goes. You never know with Blood Bowl. I just think Jessup can outscore me, which is fine. I think I can do enough damage and stay alive, but Jessup can definitely outscore me. So that's that. Rankings, we talked about this briefly. With Greta losing, I regained an advantage over her. Not that it matters too much if she wins and I lose. If she wins and I lose, whatever. If we both tie, then we'll stay the same. But yeah, pretty significant here. And this is what I was talking about here. With Chris moving up, and with that win, he's got a tie record for Andrew and now moves to 7th over Andrew's 8th. So these matchups are really significant. Chris could also supplant Orville for 5th and go right back into Group 1. this week means everything right now. Even Jessup and Mark are pretty close together, so huge things could happen. Mark could tie Great X's record even. I think that would put him above, technically. I don't know. I'd have to double check. But very, very interesting week ahead. Normally, like the last time we did groups, we could tell what was going to happen moving into the group stage, but this time I have no idea. It's definitely going to be close, and I have no idea what's going to happen. Quick perusal to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Abed, our level 5 player. Smiley holding on to the second spot there, but not even close anymore. 17 SVP difference. Best scorer, the Dean, top of the chart there. No other big changes here. Best thrower, Hui, holding on to that spot. No interceptions, which was a little sad about. Most fun player, Abed, pulls ahead in a big way with Smiley going out early on in that game. Best runner, though, Osla Atlas pulling ahead by 8 squares. So the Dean's got a lot of running to do, and he's got a miss next game. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Best throwing, Orville has 1 square on Hui at this point, despite throwing far less times. 8 fewer passes, so just a lot safer with his throws. Kind of an interesting factoid there. Survivor means nothing. Hopefully it will not change anywhere there. More skulls are added. We've added another 2 deaths this week. This is more deaths than we had in any other season combined. It's really crazy. And elves slowly taking over this block here. Absolutely crazy. 6 spots belonging to them is nuts. And some pretty significant catches as well. 6 for these pieces. So, yeah. Orville's elves are kicking into high gear. This week is a huge deal. Quick recap for how I think it's going to go. I think Greg will win. I think that Andrew will win. I think that Chris will win. And I think that Jessup will win. So we'll see how right I am. I'm about to play Jessup in just a second here. So you'll have 2 videos from me tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll talk to you later.